This is Sneaker Gears. My name is Levi, and welcome to another performance gear take and comparison on the New Balance basketball line. Thank you for joining me here today. Today we're looking at a comparison between the top basketball shoes from New Balance, and that is the Omn1's and the new Kawhi 1. And honestly, as the title says, it went from being one of the top 3 basketball shoes of 2019 to, I guess it's a little overstating bottom 3, but I think they've taken a big turn, maybe not to the worst, but there are certain factors that just went from being good or great to flat out awful. And when you have such an amazing shoe and you have a great foundation, you really should do better. So starting off with fit, which is the most important aspect of a shoe in any sport. The Omn1's is the only basketball shoe you can buy right now, I think worldwide, where you can get it in widths, meaning you're able to get the best fit possible. Now, depending if you have a high instep, because it is a single piece booty construction, it does cause possibly some issues, but it's really a stretchy knit. Because it has so much give, for the most part, you're gonna be okay. But because you can get it in different widths, you're also able to get a better secure lockdown depending on the fit or size that you get. Now, New Balance in general does run about a half size big. So if you're a normal footer, go a half size down. If you're a wide footer, in the toe box, go true to size. I'm a wide mid footer, so I went true to size, which is a 12, got a wide, and this is one of the best fitting shoes I have gotten. Now, if you're someone who has a narrow foot, at that point, even if you go a half size down, it is a wide toe box. Something like the Kawhi actually may be a better fit for you, but I think the majority of players, and depending on your foot shape, are going to be able to find a good fit in this. The combination of that woven upper that really can mold to your feet, that kind of stiffened lacing system that they have here. Hopefully you guys can get a peek of that. Really allows it to pull down into the heel cup, which is still quite sturdy. It's just something that was a pleasure and a joy to play in. I actually have my eyes possibly set on even getting the low. Obviously that's not in this review because it's the same shoe, but all in all, I think a majority of players were able to get a really nice fit in these. The Kawhi 1 is all in all more of a disappointment. If you have a wide midfoot, it's just super narrow. If you have a wide foot in any way, it doesn't come in widths. So now you're forced to go a half size up. And if you do that, you really feel like you're getting this huge shoe. Now in my pair, I did a 12.5 and it fits like a 13 already. I wouldn't want to go any bigger. And it did mold, it did get better, but at the same time, it was still something I don't know if I would want to play in for an extended period of time. 45 minutes, an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And it's just something that even though it molds to your foot to a degree, if you have a wide midfoot, you're just not going to be in great shape. If you have a wide toe box, it's decent, but you still need to go that half size up. And going that larger size does ruin some of the lockdown and containment. Not to mention, there is no give here. So if you do have a high instep where you have a little bit more girth on your foot, whether in the midfoot or the top of your foot here, it's just hard to get on, and you have a fit that is really regulated to a select few. So if you do have a really good fit in this shoe, obviously that's going to make a huge difference, and that's really going to elevate the rest of the performance on this, whether it be the containment, the lockdown, the additional support. But all of that goes to waste unless you have a great fit. And unfortunately, it's only going to be for a select few players that are really going to be able to enjoy the fit on them. All right, so moving down, we'll just stay with the Kawhi. Probably the best aspect of the shoe is the support. This has one of the beefiest heel cups you can possibly get on any shoe. You really feel like you are pulled back into the heel cup. I wish the lacing system did a better job to take advantage of that, but I still felt like it was doing its job. My ankle wasn't going to go anywhere just because my heel was still in here, even though it wasn't pulled back as far as I would have liked. The stronger knit on this I don't know if it's based on his braids or it's based on patterns that they've done as far as strength, but the side panels definitely are stronger and do really aid in the containment. Again, it would have been better if I had a little better lockdown pulling me back into the footbed, but it does the job as far as the materials. Going down to the shank plate, this thing is huge. It is probably twice the size of what we have here in the Omn1's. And you can just see here, you have a smaller shank plate here that does the job. And you have this giant forward propulsion plate, whatever they want to call it, that really gives some decent pushback, not a lot, but obviously plenty of rigidity, plenty of torsional rigidity here. So the support on this is absolutely huge. Now you can even tell from the way the footbed is shaped, you have kind of a natural outrigger. This thing is super wide. This has it as well, but I think this is just exaggerated even more so. So in spades, this is a super supportive shoe, and I would say along with something like the Curry 7, which was incredibly supportive, there are some decent options out there where you can get a lot of support and you feel locked in and protected, and this is definitely up there. But something I don't normally talk about with shoes, but I do want to bring it up. One of our subscribers, Lewis, shout out to you. He actually got this pair and he asked me, is it heavy? And I don't really talk about weight because honestly, it doesn't bother me too much. But yeah, it's a heavy shoe. The plastic pieces, the additional support, the thicker upper, the kind of well cushioned, nothing on here was done to save weight. Now, the construction and the materials used are top notch. You really feel like you get your money's worth. But at the same time, it's a chunker. This is a heavy shoe. Looking at the scale right here, this thing is coming in 1 pound, 38.2 ounces, 19.2 ounces. That's a giant shoe. Let's weigh this guy. And this is a 12 wide. We're at 17.2. That's 2 ounces more, over 10% heavier. And you can feel it. Like this isn't... It wasn't as much where I can say, man, I feel like my feet are dragging, but it was enough where, especially when you start trying on plenty of other shoes as far as doing reviews, what I do here on YouTube, yeah, it's a heavy shoe that definitely I think will bother a lot of players. Now, going back to the support, if we look at the Omn1's, this thing still has a beefy heel cup. It's just internal. Hopefully you guys can hear that. You have this kind of leather strap that almost acts as a ankle support device that really pulls you back. The lacing system does a great job pulling you down into the heel cup, onto the footbed. It still has a wide base. This is still plenty big for the torsional rigidity. I don't know if you need more. Now, if you're a stronger athlete and just elite athlete like Kawhi, you do need something like this. And that was something cool that New Balance said, was that essentially all the pairs that they sell the Kawhi 1 are what Kawhi is wearing. Like this is his pair. Outside of maybe a custom orthotic, this is made to his specs. I think it's very similar to what Under Armour used to do with the Curry shoes, like with the Curry 4. It's made exactly for that athlete. And, well, just like Under Armour learned, just because your athlete wants no cushion doesn't mean that's great for everyone else. Just because Kawhi wants something with this much support, I don't think everyone else needs that. They could have trimmed this down. They could have made this thinner. There's a lot of areas where they could have taken off that ounce or 2 ounces and just didn't make it feel so heavy on foot. Down to the cushion, there's not much to say. They both use a full-length fuel cell foam cushion setup. If you haven't used fuel cell from New Balance, generally it is a softer foam. It does have a little bit of bounce back. I believe there's more fuel cell in the heel of the Kawhi because you do feel that being a little bit squishier than you do in the Omn1's. But the Omn1's is more uniform. It feels like it has a lower heel to toe drop, so it's a little more level, more stable. And then when running, when landing hard, you're getting a little bit more fuel cell foam in the forefoot of the Omn1's. Now, this is a foam that's definitely calibrated in the basketball shoe because they can tune it differently depending on what shoe they have it in. And I'm not sure what the durometer is or the softness that they calibrated it for, but in the Omn1's, it does feel a little bit more firm, but at the same time, you never have any kind of shock coming up your body. Meaning you still feel quick, you still have court feel, And as you're running, you still have a little bit of bounce as you put more pressure and impact on the shoe. And at the same time, you feel that consistent from heel to toe. So it's just an incredibly balanced shoe. No matter how you run, no matter what stride, no matter how you land, you're covered, you're protected. On the Kawhi, you feel like you have quite a bit less forefoot cushion. I felt a shock in my body on random moves, depending what I was doing, depending how I landed. It was weird because the heel does have more cushion, so that step in comfort is softer. But when you go for a sprint, when you're landing after a jump, it doesn't quite have the same impact protection in the forefoot. And again, depending how you land, if you land heavy on your heel, you're going to appreciate the Kawhi more. And if you do want more court feel, you'll appreciate the Kawhi more. But all in all, I think the more balanced setup of the Omn1's is just going to be a lot better for the majority of players. And finally, traction. These guys are both using essentially the same rubber compound, so they perform incredible. Now, you have this kind of wave pattern on the Kawhi that looks kind of like a brain, and then you have true herringbone, which is just OG and works on the Omn1's. Honestly, they're both fantastic. The rubber compound they use is durable. This is something you can use outside and inside. Obviously, you're going to rub it down more outside, so I'm not going to tell you this is going to last a long time, but it's quite firm. It does have nice spacing, so really dust doesn't collect on either one of these. I might give the edge slightly to the Kawhi, and we're talking about depending on the court and conditions. This might be a little better, but honestly, this was one of the best traction setups of 2019, and that continues even this year. The Omn1's with that tried and true herringbone is amazing. The Kawhi is right up there. Maybe better, but not too much. They're both fantastic. New Balance really nailed the traction on both their basketball shoes. All right, so why is the Kawhi in the bottom three? Because honestly, if you're looking at the rest of the landscape of any shoe you want to buy, the entire Adidas lineup right now is really good. They've done a great job where you're getting great cushion, majority great traction, and you have a nice selection to choose from. With New Balance, you really just have the Kawhi this year. Like, that's it. Nike has a plethora of options. You can go up and down, and none of them are perfect, but you can get something much lighter. You can get something with more cushion, with more support, and really cater to whatever style of play that you have, whatever foot shape you have. You can find something that's going to work for you. And at the price point, $160 for the Kawhi, that's definitely on the higher end of things. And if you're going to be spending that much money, it better compete or be better than the majority of the shoes out there. Or if you're going to spend $10, $20 more on something like a Jordan 34 or Jordan 35, it should be comparable. Whereas the Jordan 34 and hopefully the 35, which I have coming in, have way better cushion, are way lighter, and the support is decent and the traction is still pretty good. So even if there's areas where the Kawhi is a little bit better, I think being so heavy, having a fit that is such a narrowing factor as far as how many people can enjoy it, having support that is just overly done where not many players are going to be able to take advantage or utilize it, and then for the price of $160 versus still being able to get the Omn1's for $140, if not cheaper, as they've been on sale in certain colorways. I've seen them as low as $100 for 99 bucks, getting the low for I think it's 120 or 130. It really begs the question, why would you buy the Kawhi if you're going to get majority of that performance, if not a better fit and a lighter fit for a cheaper price, all in the New Balance Omn1's, or having a variety of other shoes you can choose from? Having played in the Kawhi for a few months, having done a full review on it, it's not something I'm going back to. Well, I don't find myself wanting to play in it more. I like having it. I think it's a gorgeous looking shoe. I think the materials are incredible. And if it fits you, I think you're going to get way more use out of it and enjoyment than I will. So if you guys are interested in getting this, I have a 12.5. I'm going to be listing this probably on eBay. Guys, let me know. I'm looking to get really just what I spent on it, which is plus shipping with the tax. So, and obviously eBay has their fees. If you think you want to get it for just whatever that retail is plus the tax, and I can do a little bit cheaper, shoot me a DM on our Sneaker Years Instagram, and I'm happy to let one of my subscribers get a hold of it first. But guys, a little disappointing. I wish it was better than what it was, and they had such a great starting point with the Omn1's that it kind of is a letdown. Guys, girls, if you enjoyed that video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing below. As always, put your comments below. Let me know what you guys are thinking, what you guys want to see. I really appreciate you. This is Levi with Sneaker Gears, and I'll come at you later.